What's up, nerds? Hello, it's Ellie here. This video is going to be a 3D artist challenge vlog video. So this week, in the next 2-ish days, I'm going to be working on my submission for Clinton Jones Discord's weekly art challenge. Every week, the Discord hosts a challenge, the mods post a prompt, and 3D artists from all over the world submit their artistic interpretations of the prompt. And I have admired and enjoyed the renders submitted each week for many, many months, probably even a year. And I've always had the intention of submitting, of participating. I've started many, many times, but I've never made it to the end for whatever reason, like getting distracted or being intimidated by the workload or by, other people's talents and stuff, my own perfectionism, the list goes on. But this week, I'm gonna change that because you guys are gonna help me stay accountable. So this is the first little installment of the vlog. I just wanted to share with you what I'm up to. So right now it's my time. It's Wednesday, April 13th, 10:09 p.m. And the submission is due this Friday, April 15th at, I believe it's 12 p.m. California time. So that's 3 hours later? 3 hours earlier? Let me check. What time is it in California? It's 8 in California. Okay, so they're 2 hours behind. So 2 hours behind. So if I submit it at 2 p.m., yes, the submission is due for me at 2 p.m. this Friday. So, yeah, first things first is coming up with an idea. So the topic this week is outpost. In order to generate some kind of concept art for this week's submission, I am going to use an AI to generate something that I can use as a reference image to build my ideas off of. So that's step one. Let's get into it. Okay, so I need to get this project rolling. And to do so, I'd love to have a concept piece to work with. But since I'm not a concept artist, I'd want to outsource this task. Hence, Hugging Face. If you don't know what Hugging Face is, it's a cloud-hosted community for machine learning models. And they have some models that are text-to-image models. And I'll just show you that right now. So this is the homepage. Headed over to models. I've never used this before, but I thought this would be a good chance to explore. And then go down to the computer vision category, text to image. And I just selected this first model simply because it's the most downloaded model. So clicked on that. And then I've already run through this and I inputted retro futuristic military outpost in post-apocalyptical Texas. And this is what I got. Super cool. I have no idea how I'm going to choose them. What's awesome about this actually is the lack of detail. A lot of people see that as sort of a downfall or like a bad thing in regards to computer generated images, or rather AI generated images. But for us, it's great because it gives us just the gist of the scene, the gist of the vibe. Like, look at that. That's awesome. So I'm gonna download these and choose one. I also tried out this other model called Eleuther AI Clip Guided Diffusion HQ. And this is what I inputted. Junkyard Military Outpost in Texas, Sunset by Edward Hopper. And this is what came out. And even though it's really rough, there's not a lot of detail, I really like the composition. And it does have this epic sort of Texan proportions, this huge sky, these giant cumulus clouds. It looks like that's an oil rig here in the corner and this giant, long warehouse that you see on drives across the state, housing hay and other crops and things. But in this case, it would be an outpost for us. So yeah, I'm gonna see what I can do with these. Step 1, done. Also, I wanted to share with you like some of my personal goals for this challenge. One goal is incorporating elements from my physical environment into the render itself. So I really admire people's work that is informed by their physical environment. Top of mind, Ian Hubert pops up. His work is obviously very influenced by his surroundings, the Seattle area, his friends. He takes scans of his friends and stuff. And I think that really shows in his work, like the love for the people he's around, the love for the place that he's in really comes through in his work. There's also so many photographers. Jamie Windsor comes to mind. He's a British photographer, and he takes photos of his daughters and of people that he's around, environments that he's around, and his photography is really amazing and beautiful. Another artist that comes to mind, strangely enough, is C.G. Matter. While maybe he doesn't consider himself an artist, but he's a educator or in edutainment, and his videos just really showcase the environments that he's in, the physical places that he's experiencing, and I think that makes his content so much better. So I would like to replicate some version of that in this piece. So that's goal number 1. Goal number 2, of course, is to finish in time, and goal number 3 is to just try to get this video out also in a reasonable amount of time, so maybe day after. Okay, you guys are gonna keep me accountable. And goal 4 is to have fun. 4 goals. Okay, here we are in Blender. I have a bunch of concept art pieces I've collected from Pinterest, and I have this image that was generated by the machine learning model that I just shared with you. So based on these images, I did some low poly sketches just to get the ball rolling. So this is my first little mock-up, and it's simply a low poly version of this structure. So this is looking pretty good, but I don't know if something of this scale is what I am looking for this piece, because I kind of want to do a medium shot, and I want to later incorporate photo scans. And for those to be legible, the camera has to be close, fairly close to the structure. This is another mock-up of this image. This is a wide shot from a film called Martianland that came out, I think, in the 80s. And I've got this structure loosely based off of this gorgeous piece of concept art. It has a lot of potential. And then I made this sort of based off of this decrepit tower merged with this structure. So obviously how good these look will depend on so many factors like texturing, materials, lighting, composition, etc. In addition to that, I also want to share with you some other reference images. So this is a photo I took on a walk, and I want to incorporate maybe a crane of some kind or construction of some kind, because that is a definite feature of the environment I live in now. And then also these white elements are really common in my area, as well as curved benches. So the way these benches curve at the top is really nice. And then I also took this on my walk, and it's either a restored fort from the 1800s or a fort recently built in the style of a fort that did exist there in the 1800s. So I would like to incorporate these rock elements, and then palm trees like this are everywhere here. So I'd love to put some palm trees into my scene. And then finally, this is another machine learning model text to image. And I just love the colors and the big sky and stuff. So, oh, and this oil rig on the left. Oh, excuse me. Okay, so now I'll share with you my... Okay, here we are in my Polycam library. And I'll share with you the photo scans I'd love to incorporate. So this is a classic scan of, lo and behold, loading a trash can. And I've never seen trash cans quite like this anywhere else in the world. So I'd love to stick that somewhere in my model. And then, what is this? I think this is some kind of structure. Okay, some spring flowers. That'll be easy to add, hopefully. And then I've got this ice machine, as well as some decorative snowmen from the holiday season. Here's this ice machine. Forgive the orientation, it's all wonky. In addition to incorporating those photo scans, I also realized that I have 2 KitBash files that I downloaded almost 2 years ago. And surprisingly, I haven't actually used the assets very much at all. But in the spirit of speeding up and really making my environment come alive, this is going to be super helpful because we can just export elements like this thing. Like, that's very post-apocalyptic, military outposty, if I do say so myself. And satellites, as well as like futuristic lighting systems, air conditioners. This would be cool. Even this vase could be helpful. So I actually have another file called City Streets that has, let me see if I have it open. Yep, I have it open. Here is the other file I mentioned. And this is essentially another KitBash. This one's called City Streets. And this one is going to be hugely useful in terms of taking little small elements and incorporating them into our larger piece, like this barricade looking thing. Yes, that's perfect to dress up our like really low poly, simple outposts. You know, this looks like some kind of guard house. There's more gates. Here's a fence with barbed wire. You know, this is gonna be awesome for us. So time has run out and I successfully submitted in the nick of time. I'll show you what I mean by the nick of time right now. Let me just navigate over to my other OBS scene. Okay, there's the proof of submission, and that's the render. 10:59. I did it. So, and the next post after my submission is the bot announcing that submissions are closed. What's really remarkable about this week is the number of submissions, guys. 153 submissions. I'm pretty sure this is some kind of record. It's a lot of submissions, and they're all amazing. Ronan is a mod on the channel, and his work has gotten like exponentially better over the course of the past year. And look how amazing this latest piece is with these cool looking geckos, I believe. So like artistic and fun and playful. There's a lot. I'm always super impressed by people who submit animations. Hopefully that's something that I can work toward. Maybe I'll give that a whirl next week, depending on time. This is so nice. Peter D. Jason. Oh, look, this person used the same concept art piece as me. Wow. Cool, cool, cool. Oh, and look, they also used KitBash to sort of recreate the structure. So Dayrock and I were on the same wavelength there. And then in this channel, you have to submit proof. And I accidentally submitted mine as a PNG. So hopefully this counts. Okay, now let's get into the file. Right, so this is my blend file, proof of submission. So let's just wait for it to load. Okay, so this is the render. The scaffolding here. These are the scaffolding and the satellite pieces. This fence and the trees are all KitBash. And also some little objects on top of the scaffolding that you can't really see in the final render are also KitBash. These items here. And then this little pipe is also from KitBash. And this is what came of that first mock-up. So I modeled this whole thing myself. It's actually pretty low poly, but I don't know, you can't really tell from far away. These materials all came from Substance 3D. These are meant to be solar panels, hopefully that's obvious. And then this material is called something sci-fi plating circuits. And I thought this refracted the light in an interesting way. This material came from and the KitBash pieces, metal paint gray A, and then this material in the little crevices that I added are the sci-fi panel material, also from Substance 3D. So I'm just gonna go back to clay mode. So I'll just briefly go over some of the struggles I had throughout this process. So something I struggled with for a bit was the background dune not appearing in camera view. And so at first I thought it was the world clipping. So I went to view and then changed the clip end. And I really cranked it way up, but I was still unable to see the dune in the background. And then after some deliberation with Blender friends, I realized that there's also camera clipping that's going on. So you can change that when you have the camera selected and then change the clip end here. Or if you're a person who uses photographer add-on, you can easily do that in the photographer add-on right here. So that was a bit of a time sink, but you know, lesson learned. And another thing that caught me up for a bit was the difference between link and append. So link, I mean, the names make it kind of obvious. So like link refers to an object in another blend file and basically directs the current blend file to that path, which means you can modify or edit those objects in this blend file. And then append means it's basically creating a copy of something in another file in this current blend file. So if you take a second and just look at the symbols, one is a chain, one is a paperclip. It's pretty easy to remember. So I struggled with that for a hot second. And then, also Blender crashed a lot for me. It turns out that I'm running out of disk space, which is never the ideal way to start a render challenge. So make sure you have space on your computer, guys. Don't leave it to the... Okay, so those are some things I struggled with. I also wanted to mention to y'all the two things that really made a huge difference in the quality of this final render. The first of those two being the dunes. I used a built-in Blender add-on that you just need to enable called Landscape. And there's a bunch of landscapes you can choose from. And I actually went through and checked out each one, but dunes really suited this scene best and matched the reference images I had best. So that's an awesome feature. And then I quickly textured that just so I could get a sense of the space. And then also what really puts this render over the edge is an add-on called Physical Atmosphere. And essentially it allows you to, it sets up a world shader that mimics like a photorealistic atmosphere on Earth. You might be able to manipulate it in such a way that it would match an atmosphere on a different planet too. But it's just so beautiful to play with. It reminds me of Unreal. You can change the azimuth, the temperature, the intensity, the scale of the clouds. I wish I could change the type of clouds. And you can probably do that somehow, maybe with Python. But there's not a slider just for your layman user like myself. So that's something I would change if I had more time to work on this. There you have it. That's my final render. Thanks for tuning in to this little vlog. I am going to submit again next week, and I look forward to seeing my progress over time as I continue to participate in this challenge. Thanks for watching this video. If you found it inspiring, useful, entertaining, consider liking the video and perhaps subscribing to my channel. Next week, I'll be doing another challenge and sharing my process with you. Also, if you're a CG artist and you've been wanting to join a challenge or work on a new project, now's the time. I'll be working on a new project next week, and you can do the same, and we can work parallel together. So yes, see you next week.